I've interviewed 700 people, neuroscientists, psychologists, Olympians, billionaires, you name it. And I've learned a lot in those interviews. And one of the things I learned was this idea of future memory. The brain, the neuroscientists can see it, the surgeons, when they look at the brain leaves marks, tracks, when we take on hard things and we complete hard things. It leaves gaps in the brain, physical gaps, when we take on hard things and we don't complete them. So people that don't complete hard things are more likely to quit in the future. People that finish hard things are more likely to finish in the future, and it's especially prevalent for young people, young kids. So the more hard things young kids can take on, the more tracks they lay in the brain that the neuroscientists see, the more likely they are to be successful in life.
I'm your professor, I will test you in the worst way. Don't bring a scantron, it's pop quizzes all day. Cause of our chemistry, we do biology. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, more importantly, you saw the clip. This is about a quitter's brain, man, a quitter's mentality. Like, a lot of people are enabled to be quitters. You know, some of you kids who become adults, who are on your way to becoming adults, and some of you adults, you can't really move forward in life because you quit everything. And that started at an early age. And when he said what he was saying, you know, that was an old principle basically that you put science to. Because people will tell you, you know, if you that's why you learn to do things the hard way. That's why you do the hard things when you're early, because you don't feel crushed at the sight of adversity or the sight of something difficult. It's not like, oh man, it's gonna take me forever to do. It's like, yeah, you know what? I did something that was this difficult before. I could do this. But when you are a kid and you don't understand why your parents tell you don't quit stuff, and you quit, and your parents drag you back and they go, no, you're not. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you get through the rough stuff you might not like doing, because if you don't, you might not ever accomplish anything long term. Because I've seen so many adults. See, a lot of y'all don't really realize the conversation sometimes. When people say, I'm not going to do that, and I ain't going to do this, and I ain't going to do that, and you better than me because I wouldn't do it. You're hearing that from adults, but you don't realize that adult is a quitter. They don't do anything that's difficult. They won't do anything that's difficult because they've basically mentally and physically put themselves in a position where they think it's smart to have somebody else do the heavy lifting. And the stupidity in that is, who's going to do the heavy lifting for you in your life? You. But trying to put that responsibility on another human being says how much of a quitter and a scumbag you are. And then people get upset and disappointed in people because they feel like somebody else let them down, but somebody else walked away from them and quit on them. But the truth is, they quit on themselves long before that person walked away. You know, sometimes quitting is a generational curse. Sometimes your grandparents are quitters, then your parents are quitters, and then they raise you to be a quitter. And sometimes you got to fight that. You got to fight that. Part of people telling you your dreams can't come true and you won't succeed is a quitter's mentality. And what I mean by that is, some people would tell you, like, I'm a person who would tell somebody that you're not going to be good at something because you don't work at it. If you work at it, you'll be good at it. But if you don't work at it, you won't be. But other people will tell people, like, you're going to be great at something, but never make them work at it. They know that's going to fail. Oh, you're special. You're this and you're that. And it's like, that person doesn't actually put in any work at that. Why are you telling them that they're great at something that they don't do? It's because that person is trying to, in some ways, pacify you to make you feel better about yourself. And what's going to happen is you're going to get around people who actually are great at the thing you think you're great at, and it's going to crush your soul. Now the question is, how do you bounce back? Are you going to quit for good, or are you going to work at it? You know, um, working through difficult things is a choice. A lot of times you don't understand that life, life can be is a physically taxing thing, but life is also a mentally taxing thing. But people who a lot of times do the best in life are people who've faced a lot of adversity, because there's a certain amount of adversity you're going to face where in life where nothing's going to be worse than something that happened prior, and then everything gets easier. But if you do this in reverse, and every and you don't finish things, everything gets increasingly hard. Everything is a task that's just draining you, because the switch never clicked in your head that, you know what, yeah, I didn't like it, but I crushed it. It's not no big deal. Too many people are thinking that, you know, they're smarter than they are, they're better than they are, because but they don't know how to think under pressure. They don't know how to push through a difficult task. Like I used to say, um, to some of my family members, some of my friends, uh, because let's say it's the end of the school year. I used to say, for teachers and students, school gets more difficult at the end of the year. People are more on pins and needles, or more agitated at the end of the year, because they know it's about to end. They want it to be over with. Just like they're excited at the beginning of the year, that they're ready for it to start. But the issue becomes, if you learn that it's getting close to the end, in life, sometimes the hardest things are at the end. Like you if a situation is getting worse and worse and worse and worse, that means you're probably at the end of the situation. But for some people, when it gets worse, they back up. When it gets a little bit harder, they back up. When it gets a little bit harder, they quit. It's like I can't do it. I can't do it. So mentally, they become a quitter because they can't do anything that causes them stress. That's why you hear people, I'm stressed out, I'm this and I'm that. It's like, are you stressed out? Are you depressed? Or is what you have to do in front of you, the thing you were supposed to do in front of you, you bailed on it? Because people don't want to say this sometimes, but there's more stress in quitting than there is following through. You know, and a lot of people with a quitter's mind don't get that until it's too late. And you don't want to wake up 30, 40, 50 years old and realize, oh, my life would have been a whole lot easier if I'd have just pushed through this rough time. Because some people's lives suck because they quit something with a month left, 3 months left, 6 months left. And now 10 years later, that that decision is kicking their behind in life. But I'm gonna leave it at that. You tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna say it to you.